Explorer 36. Wrong, sir. I would still sell it. Todd, evening, Robin. Howdy, watch folks. Zero cares. I will sell anything I want. Let's see. Mr. Federagent. Good evening. Bill K. Chuck Cooley. Let's see. Thank goodness it's Monday. Yes, indeed. Tim says hello. Bean Boys here. Anonymous Watch guys here. Tennessee Mike checking in. Matthews checking in. Larry C. I think I lost my mind, guys. I think I lost my mind. Maybe the title confirms that. Maybe the watch I'm wearing confirms that. Raj, hello from the UK. Good evening. Wearing the Oris Movember, says Nate Dog. Good pickup. Thanks, Canada. Hello from Windsor. Eric E. Checking in from Michigan, my home state. Slop John's here. Jeremy's here. Jason from Aruba's here. Floridian's checking in. Brave Sailor checking in from California. Dave's here. Dane, Celine Driver, #1 troll killer's here on the job. Ben buying a yak from Discord here, aka Ben. Awesome, good to see you. Mr. Calico Basin here says, I don't know, he's playing Uno and eating nachos or something. I don't know what's going on. Cecil says, good evening. Thanks for the bonus Sunday fun day. No problem. Raj is asking, what do I think about Rado? I think great, fun-looking watches. I don't own any, though. Matthew says, well, Peter says hello from New Hampshire. I'm missing some. Sorry, guys. Mr. FKNT says, hey, what's up? Greetings from Belgium. Jeff's checking in. Let's see. Matthew says, glycine on the table for the win. I picked this up. Everybody slept on it on the Sunday fun day. I waited, and then nobody bought it. So I hit up the owner, and I'm like, hey, no one's buying it. You cool if I buy it? He said, yep. So I picked it up. Dennis, hello from Germany. That's awesome. So now, as good as this rubber smells on here, it smells like vanilla. Ginger Down Under checking in from Australia. But there's no natural curve to it. And this is a 22 millimeter lug width. Something's got to change. I'm waiting to have my conversation with Strap Habit because I am going to order a bunch of Strap Habit straps to complement a lot of my watches. But in the meantime, I was looking around in the bin for a 22 mil strap. Well, I found a custom leather from EA Leather Goods. Probably going to install that and see how that goes. Let's see. Chuck says, hey, Rob, do you have any issues with the SLA 055 other than the price? I can't find any reviewer who has had an issue with the watch, but they all criticize the price. Why is that? Because it's expensive. And we're not used to spending that kind of money. Beanboy says, Combat Sub is an awesome pickup. Hello, Kevin, checking in from Florida. I felt like this was a really good colorway for me to add to the library. And when I do the price setting for the Sunday Fun Day, I don't like to intrude on that. I don't like to buy them. So I usually will have the owner set the price, and then I will buy it by their set price. I've done that many times. I did it with the Zin 104. So I kind of waited, gave everybody the opportunity to pick this one up. Nobody jumped on it. So then I jumped on it. And I haven't owned a Combat Sub in a long time. These are, I don't want to say iconic, but it's definitely noteworthy. It's within the top 50 of the great watches out there. So I felt like it was a very good addition to the watch library. Just need a different strap. So I already have the Combat Sub. One is enough. Correct. I think one is enough. I don't think you need to collect them. Although if you love them like big time, then sure, why not? You can have a few of them. They're pretty cheap. Nate Dog says, just curious, is your wife aware of the library? Yes, and she supports it. Oris versus Sin on the table. These two are not a fair comparison, but I like where you're going with that. If you had the non-in-house movement Oris, I think that would be a more fair comparison between these two watches. because mostly just because of the price point, and I mean obviously the movement. But this is a $4,500 watch. You know, if you were to have the Big Crown Pro Pilot with the Salida movement in it, then yeah, I think we have a pretty good versus. But yeah, this thing is incredible. Nick at Exquisite Timepieces down in Naples, Florida, sent over this, two Bell and Ross, and a Seiko Presage that is awesome. Yeah, this dial is really cool. It's hard to capture in good light. And the case, actually, the way the case is done is pretty cool. It's actually graphite 3D printed, but the graining on it is just wild. Incredibly light, has a titanium case back with a display showing off the Oris in-house 400 movement. Great strap. Love the buckle system on these Orises with the like kind of seatbelt style clasp system. Very cool. Very cool indeed. So, I am wearing a very ridiculous watch that I purchased with my own money. I would like to share it with you. I don't even know what it's called. It's Elegantis or something like that. And yes, it is a larger watch. And yes, it does look like it's on upside down, but it isn't. It's a Destro chronograph, and it's a real Christmas chronograph. It has a Christmas tree and everything. It has multiple Christmas trees on the dial, and a moose for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't have a reindeer. It has a moose, but whatever. I'll show you the case back. And if you're not into Christmas, I have a Grinch watch too. So here's the Christmas tree on the case back of that one. And if you're just bah humbug and you're a Grinch, well, I have the Grinch as well. There you go. And on the case back of this one, it shows Grinch taking all the gifts. So he stole all the gifts underneath the tree. Moose for all the holiday beer to drink. Oh yeah. That would make sense, I guess, but why not a reindeer? I guess it doesn't look as cool, but the Grinch one's pretty fun, too. And it's coated with something. I don't know what it's coated with. They're just fun watches. Let's see. I took Georgia. Okay. Dane says, what is with Random Rob and kids watches all of a sudden? Hey, whatever. You know what, Dane? In case you didn't know, this is something that resonated with me recently. Well, I don't even know where I heard it. I just said it and I realized it. Nobody cares about your watch. So us watch enthusiasts that are walking around with our cool new watch or our special limited edition blah, 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 or our fancy luxury blah, 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 nobody cares. The only person that cares is you. So if the only person that is caring is you, why not get what you like? Well, I'm buying what I like. So if I see it and I like it, I'm buying it. That's my new rule. That's what I'm doing. And that's what happened here. Now, sure, it might have been late at night, and I might have had a few drinks, and it might have popped up on my Instagram, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that. Impulse buy. Yeah, sure. Do I regret it? Not at all. I think it's a very fun watch. I wore it all day today, even for the larger size of it, and it is a big watch. Maybe I like big watches now. Maybe Sir Mix-a-Lot and I have a lot more in common than we thought. It's called being over 40. Yeah, that's the reason. The drink must be too strong for Rob's comfort. Rob, did you see I did. Floyd, I did, and I'm super excited about those, and I hope Exquisite gets them. Actually, I'm going to hit up Nick tomorrow because this is the chronograph body, but they did it in the real big square Bell and Ross, and they did that. I don't have them here, but I have the video of them that they did with that other watch company. I forget what it is. I think the Bell and Ross ones look great. And they might be a little bit more accessible. We'll see. So, Calico says he wants a Bell and Ross someday. Megamind, what do you think of Christopher Ward and Worn and Wound Sandstorm? I love collaborations. I think this is going to be 2023 is going to be the year of collaborations. You guys are going to see so many collaborations with watch brands. Your head is going to explode. You're going to be like, enough. Here comes the Big Watches theme song. Oh, check this out. Thoughts on Baltic. I like Baltic. They're a little too small for me, but you know, here I am over here wearing like huge watches. Larry C likes big watches. Larry C, you would love one of that Christmas chrono, or maybe one of these Bell and Ross. They wear incredibly good on wrist because of the way the strap and case integrate. But it wears really good on wrist, but it definitely has some presence. It's larger, so these are square watches look larger on wrist. Period. And this one's crazy busy. So you're more of a 58 millimeter Invicta guy. I don't know if I could pull off that large, but if there's one I really liked, heck, I'd play around with it. Why not? You know, now you can go with a smaller Bell and Ross like this guy here, the BR05, I think it is. These wear a lot smaller, very good. The Baltic. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to go grab it because this is the whole point of me having the watch library. You mention a watch, what I think about it. Let me go grab it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab the Baltic. This is what the watch library is all about. So here is the Baltic. I think this is the only Baltic I have right now. Will I get more in the library? Yeah, you betcha. I'll have a bunch of them, I'm sure. But here's one of them. What do I think of it? I think the strap is very plasticky feeling. I'm not a huge fan of they could have done a better job with the Tropic strap. It wears fine, but it definitely is PVC feeling. I love the sandwich cutouts. So it has a little bit of a sandwich dial where the triangles are, but then the rest of it's printed. I like that. I'm a big fan of sandwich dials, and if they integrate that with some more of the other things. Screw down crown, nice bezel action. YZ80, I like where your head is. I like that. Yeah. Fed says he changed the strap immediately. Yeah, a simple strap change, and you got yourself a phenomenal watch here. Nice thin mid case. Overall, just great construction. Price point, I forget what these are, but I think they're pretty reasonable. So not a bad pickup. If you're interested in the Baltic, go for it. All right. Oh, I know I missed a bunch of comments. Okay, so I mentioned Rolex, right? I sold the Rolexes. I sold the sub. I sold the sub last year. Sold it to a good friend of mine. He loves it. Super happy with that. And then recently, I sold, yeah, Stuart, I have tried the Laco Squad watches. I've done videos on them. I don't own any right now, but. And then I did recently sell the Air King. Poof, it's gone just like that. No more Rolex. No Rolex for 2023. Don't know what the future holds, but I suspect I will not return to Rolex. Kevin, I need to try the titanium Aquascape 41 millimeter. I think that would be the way to go. And Dane says, no, it was not him that bought the Submariner. No. I'll straight up tell you guys, it was my buddy Mark. He may or may not pop in the chat. There's no secrets. I don't need to hide anything. He got a good deal on it versus what he could have potentially got it for in the gray market. I got a number that I was happy with. I paid off some debt with it. Kind of did the same thing with the Air King. Now, the Air King didn't hold the value nearly as good as the Sub did. Subs pull a lot better resale on it. The Air King, basically, I didn't even get all my money back if you think about it. Because I basically sold it for what I paid for, but I covered the shipping, which I did next day or Saturday delivery, which unfortunately he didn't get it till today. They didn't do it on Saturday, but whatever. And then I also insured it, so that cost money. And then, you know, I don't get my taxes back that I paid on it. But you know what? I had my time with it. The new owner's, you know, in love with it. He's digging it, so it is what it is. Sun Turtle Camper says, Random Rob, do you have any small watches, or would you recommend have small watches? Well, I mean, I don't know what you consider small, but here's a Vario that is fairly small, but being rectangle wears pretty good. And also very cool because you can just boop, flip that over and you have a different look to it entirely, but it's very comfortable on wrist. So, sympathy for the bezel. Who do I use for insurance? I ship with um, Pirate Ship. And when you use Pirate Ship, basically they're going to get you the prices for USPS or UPS. So you pick whichever one you want to use, and then you buy the insurance through Pirate Ship. And I've heard confirmation from other watch enthusiasts that Pirate Ship does cover a loss. So they do a pretty good job with that. Whereas, like, I know friends that have insured with USPS and they did not get a payout, so they didn't pay. Whereas Pirate Ship will pay. So I insure through them, and they're actually less money anyway. Now, I haven't had to do a claim, but on top of that, I have a little bit of my own insurance policy through my actual homeowner's insurance. So I'm kind of self-insured. Well, insured that way. Plus, I have, a little bit of cash set aside that I'm slightly self-insured too. So if worse come to worse, I could cover a loss. It would suck, but I could cover it. And I would probably do that first. I would try to claim with Pirate Ship. If they didn't pay, then I would pay out of pocket before I would do a homeowner's claim. I don't like to do that. So, but here is the coppered colored Bell & Ross. I'm not sure. I would pick this colorway, but it is a very cool looking watch nonetheless, and a great strap. The bracelet's really good, but honestly, I would go with the strap on that one. Andrew says, you liking the Orca? I just ordered the blue one. Hold on a second. Let me check the watch library. I do not have the blue one, but I do have the black one with the crazy bold orange minute hand. And although I haven't really worn it much, but that's a kind of a casualty of owning like 130 watches or whatever I have now. But it does wear very good. And there is a new model coming out with an integrated metal bracelet. So I'll definitely be picking one of those up as well. But yeah, this thing's great already right out of the box. Looks like the date is wrong on it, but the strap is really long on this. That part's kind of weird, but it doesn't hinder the wearability of it all. And it wears great on wrist. Super, super comfortable. But look how long the strap is on this thing. So pretty cool watch. I don't think you'll be disappointed in the Orca. I might even wear it now that I have it on wrist. Great watch. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee it. Jason says, speaking of collections, he said he traded 6 microbrands for a Breitling 3-hand Niva timer. That works. Watches and caps. What is this watch library? And I don't know what you mean by caps, but hold on a second. I don't know if I missed anybody, but your username is caps. If anybody's interested, I have a few of these Richardson 115 custom embroidered all black caps. If you're interested in one of those, you can email me. I think in the USA, I'll do $45 shipped. So anyway, back to the watch library. What is it? I don't know what it's going to look like or evolve into, but currently the watch library is something that I'm working on building. And no, I have not seen an RGM yet. I'm building a collection, okay? We can call it a collection, but to make it seem like I'm not a collector, I'm going to call it a library. So in this library exist watches that, sure, the icons, the Zin 104s, the Seiko SKXs, and the affordable icons, a lot of micro brands, and a lot of watches that you, the watch enthusiast, probably are not going to have access to unless you either buy one or maybe go to a Worn and Wound wind-up show, but not even all the micro brands go there. Like RZE's not there, right? And you want to see an RZE? Here it is. Obviously I do the video on it, but if we wanted to take it a step further and you want to see an RZE next to a Nomadic, then I want to be able to show you that. I want to be able to present those to you. Like say say you're looking at the pneumatic and the RZE, you're trying to decide which one you want. Well, the Random Rob Watch Library will be able to provide you that information. That's what I want to try to do. I want to further build, like, so I have what, like 3,000 videos ish, right in that range. But what if I never got rid of any of these watches? So that's the mindset I'm starting to do right now. Whereas if I had them here all the time for you guys to ask the question, even the weird oddball stuff. So like you're thinking, say you're thinking, well, I want a white dial watch, but I don't know if I want the chronograph in titanium, like an RZE chronograph, or if I want to like get the Dorenzo with the integrated bracelet. I know that's a weird comparison, right? But us watch enthusiasts will kind of go down weird paths and put two watches up against each other. I have no business being up against each other. And I want to be able to show them. That's it. You know? And the Invicta 1953. Yeah, obviously. The Invicta 1953. Why not? So that's what the watch library is. It's something that I can help the watch enthusiast out there in the world make a better informed decision. That's all it is. Also, we'll see if I can do this, but maybe even when I do like, so I have like the Louisville, Kentucky meetup planned for like May 19th. And it's mostly for my Discord group, but maybe if you're local in the area and you're like, well, I'm not that far from Louisville, Kentucky, and I would love to meet up with you guys real quick. Maybe you get a hold of me and you come meet up, and I bring, say, 200 watches with me. And at least 100 of them are watches that you would probably never be able to see because authorized dealers, watch boutiques, and stuff like that just don't carry these brands. Well, I would bring them and they would be on display so you could actually see them. How cool would that be? Hans says, why did you sell your Rolex? I sold the Submariner because a good buddy of mine wanted it, and the timing of it was perfect for me to pay off debt. Also, if I'm being completely honest, I was getting a little bored with it, but mostly I wanted to sell it to my buddy so I could also pay off debt. The Air King I sold because I think I was just over it. Yeah, Homer's my buddy that's dealing with USPS and still having problems with it, apparently. Sorry about that, Homer, but hopefully we can figure it out one way or another. He is from Jersey. Maybe I'll come take care of him the old school way. Floyd says, crazy thought, but the watch library could eventually transition into a museum exhibition 20 years from now. Maybe. I was actually talking to a couple of one of my buddies about this. So, okay, let's talk history. Let's talk history for a second. Let's see. Will you hang on to any of your high-end watches if they don't get wrist time? I don't really have a whole lot of high-end watches left. I mean, I have a couple Breitling and stuff like that, so I don't really have any like luxury high-end watches. The Breitlings, I guess, technically are, but yeah, I don't plan on selling those. All right, so let's talk about history for a second. Now, most of us weren't really into watches when the quartz crisis happened, or yeah, I mean that was a long time ago. But anyway, if you were, kudos, you're probably older than I am. But the quartz crisis happened, and it killed a bunch of brands, mostly Swiss brands, automatic Swiss brands, and it changed. Yeah, quartz revolution. It changed the watches completely. YZ80 was on a big wheel. I think you might be a little bit older than me, but not much. But I was probably on a big wheel as well, and I got second place in a big wheel race. I'm pretty proud of that. So, Dane, if it's buffering, you might have to reset. Hopefully, it's not too bad. So, okay. So, really, what happened though is a bunch of brands died. They no longer were in business. What's really the difference that's happening now? We have a ton of micro brands out there. And not all of the micro brands are going to make it straight up. Or we're buffering. Am I even on Wi-Fi? I can end it and restart it if you guys think I need to. Let me know. Do I need to end it and restart it? Refresh seems to go away. Connection fine here. Okay, you guys are saying fine. Okay, I'll keep running. If you guys say I need to reset, I will. It's not a big deal. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, so all of the micro brands, I don't even know how many there are. There's way too many, right? So not all of them are going to make it. So fast forward 5 years from now, you're going to see some of the brands that you think are good right now, they're not going to be in business. That's just a fact. Not all of them are going to make it just because of the level of competition that's out there right now. So I don't want to pick on any particular brands. This is where I have to be cautious because, or maybe I can pick on a brand that probably will still be around. Could I do that maybe? You know what? I'll pick on this brand because I don't really care. Because honestly, I looked at most of their catalog and I don't really care for their watches other than this one. So let's pick on Zuno. I'm just hypothetically talking here. So say Zuno 5 years from now no longer exists. Okay. I love this watch. I think this is a great watch. But in 5 years from now, will this watch matter? If they're not in business, who cared about it? Me and like 100 other people? So I don't know. I'm trying to use history to dictate what the future is going to be. So that's where you see like rebrand or like a reemergence or a phoenix brand, such as Oleg and Waz. Okay, let's talk about that. So this was a brand that was around back in the day. The quartz crisis killed it. Then they came back. There's a bunch of archived pieces that people still collect. It was a bigger brand, bigger than Zuno is right now, but maybe they keep growing and then they die later. So will we care after they're gone? Some brands, yes, some brands, no. I read people say the Zelos is not going to go away. Probably not, but there could be unforeseen circumstances. It depends on how that business is ran or how many people are truly in control on that. And if a company is ran by like one person and they're the main person in control of that, and God forbid something happens to that person and they can no longer do it, then what happens to that brand if nobody else can pick up the torch and keep running with it? So yeah, Scott, 100%. A lot of brands, if they're small and they're running things primarily themselves, if something happens to them, then the brand could be over. It could be done. So those are the ones. Hey, Chris and Erica's checking in. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just a weird world, the micro brand world, and I actually love it for that. How fragile it potentially is, but how exciting and the energy and the commitment that a lot of these brand owners have inspires me because they work hard and they invest a lot of money and time into building their brand with just an insane amount of uncertainty with it. And I dig that. I respect that because I don't have the ambition or courage to do something like that. Well, I don't have the desire to do it, but I think most of them are doing it because they have the passion to do it. It's beyond just a business move, because if you're going to do a business move, I don't know that building a watch brand, a nice solid watch brand, is probably the best use of your time. You could probably do a lot better doing something else, I'm guessing. All right, so I might head the direction of craft beer, Swatch, Fossil, Citizen, buy a bunch of them. Oh, that's also another really good point. I was actually looking at some Fossil watches. There are some really cool Fossil watches out there. But yeah, That's and there is certain brands that when I started really watching them and seeing their moving, the way they were growing their business and setting it all up, I could almost point at them and be like, "Th- they're going to potentially be in a position where they are going to be purchased. They will be gobbled up." And we think the big brands gobbling up some of the smaller ones because that again is how history has done it. But sometimes it's not always big fish that eats little fish. Sometimes it's a little bit bigger little fish eats little fish. So you might have small brands acquiring other brands. Definitely when they're in trouble, or say, like I said, God forbid something happens to one of them, then that other little brand might go like, well, I want to keep that brand alive, so they might gobble it up, which is really how Phoenix brands have come up. So like, um, and I don't know how that works, but you can buy the rights to the name or something. Like Oleg and Waz is owned by an Oleg and Waz fan, and so is Fortis, I think, right? And I'm sure there's a few others that are like that too. Does the Breitling Aerospace still hold up in its price range? I think so. I think the Aerospace is a great watch. I think it's more. I don't know that I would add it to my collection. I had toyed with the idea of picking it up, but this is going to end up being sold probably in my Discord group. So I don't think this makes it to the regular Sunday Fun Day. I think this probably gets gobbled up in the Discord group because it's a very good, clean example of an Evo. A couple little scratches there, nothing big, but it is grade 2 titanium. But great, like everyday type watch. Say you're just like going to work every day. This would be the watch you would probably wear. Whose is this, Will? Could be yours. This could be a Will watch. I'm just saying. I think there's a few people that want it, including myself, but I just don't want to go that deep right now. So, Matthew, Fossil owns Zodiac. Yes, Fossil Group does own Zodiac still. Yeah, Fossil restarted Zodiac, actually. That's more accurate, Brave Sailor says. So, yeah, let's see. Reading some comments. So just to clarify, is the library available for your Discord members to loan out or try? So watches and caps, kind of. There is certain people, I will say, that have a quote library card, which I will probably actually have poker chip made up that is the library card or something. And it's a small list of people, but if they want to check out a watch like you would check out a book at a library, they will have the option to do so. Certain ones are going to be off limits. Certain watches are not really in the library, they're in my personal collection. So, not all of them will be available, but many of them will. Kevin, you want to see this guy. So, this is a Seiko Persage SARF 013. Now, I had wanted to see the 011, which is the white dial one, but Exquisite didn't have it in stock. Thankfully, Nick sent this one over because the dial on this thing is incredible. Seiko makes, it's not even arguably, but Seiko makes some of the best dials out there, period. This thing has a very interesting, it's almost like a sonar pattern to the dial cutouts, but then it also has like little silver flakes in it all over. And when you catch the light just right in it, they look like stars in the night. It has a power reserve indicator. It also, so here, let's wind it up so we can see the, yeah, and this is actually an incredible value in the Seiko lineup. I will straight up say that. 1750, maybe you get a discount, maybe. And Will wants to know the size. It's titanium, by the way. It's also titanium, incredibly light. It is just over 40 by 47 and a half. So 40 by 47 and a half. Not a very big watch. And it's probably 13 and a half thick. So you can wind it up, very smooth movement, increases the power reserve indicator, has a long GMT hand, has a the running seconds, and then this is your date down here, which is hard to see, but it has a traveler's GMT movement in it. So you can jump hour this thing, but that is also how you're going to set the date. So you can see the date just jumped ahead. It has a date subdial. So very, very cool. Yes, Seiko is definitely, I don't want to say they moved up their prices. The first thing Seiko did is solidify their brand. So they stopped doing massive discounts, like Citizen still does. But Seiko solidified their brand. Then they moved up a little bit in certain segments. But if you look at history with some of their watches that you could compare to, say, like 10 years ago, they really haven't raised their prices that much. But this thing is incredible, guys. Like, legit makes you question some of the LX line, or I don't want to say quite Grand Seiko line. It's definitely not Grand Seiko level, but it flirts with it, with the specs of it and the finishing on it. I love the titanium. Not a huge fan of the glossy blue, but it does work. I would, I don't know what other strap I would use with this. I still think I would maybe go for the white dial one, which is limited edition, but this one is incredible looking. If I could get a killer deal on something like this, um, I mean, even at 1750, it's still pretty good. But say you pick it up for like 1600 or something, that's a lot of watch for 1600 bucks. Yeah, James, Seiko cracked down hardcore, and I'm not saying like we think they did. Like, I confirmed it with many authorized dealers. They cracked down on where the watches are, where they're going. They also cracked down on their own production side of things, how many they're making. So they're not flooded the market so that authorized dealers have to send them to gray market. So yeah, oh, and I agree. Seiko does a very good job of running the range, just like Casio does, and a lot of the Japanese brands. They cover the market really well. My buddy Greg Wood is here. Thanks for joining. They tighten the noose on the discounts 100%. On Grand Seiko, they basically are not doing discounts. And even on Seiko, depending on what line you're going at, you might see a 5% discount. That's the level of discount. That's how tight they made it. But the timing of it was great. I mean, they already started on that, but once some of the luxury brands really tightened up to the discounts, then Seiko did it too. Everyone's doing it. It forces the consumer to basically adhere to those new business practices. Seiko Noman addict. Oh, stay away from Noman, man. They're you can get deals there, and maybe even some special edition watches. But if you ever have to deal with a warranty issue, you're pretty much on your own. It's a pain in the butt to deal with them. What's the tank style piece right center? This is a Vario, and I think it's called a Versa, and it has two quartz movements in it. So this side is green. It's actually an enamel dial. There's its crown for the operating that, and then on this side, it's kind of like a sector dial. So pretty cool watch. Nicely done. Yeah, Vario's doing some pretty cool stuff. Hamilton has something better than Seiko in every category and their price range. Grand Seiko is another subject, though. Christian, um, am I selling it? No, I'm not selling any watches. So that's all part of me building the library. Basically, I just stopped selling watches, and the library just grows. But somebody said something about Hamilton offering great watches in pretty much every category. Yes and no. I mean, Hamilton is definitely the king of the field watch category. I think there's some that probably do a really good job, but Hamilton has the name recognition and the history. Yeah, Hans, I did see they sold out. Thankfully, Vario sent that to me. So, um, like this is my only Hamilton right now, but I do plan on picking up. I don't know if I'm going to get the 42 mil. I might pick up the 42 millimeter titanium. I think that one's probably going to be in my future. I don't know what else I might pick up from Hamilton, but I need to add a couple Hamilton to the library. or to my personal collection, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that's not true. This is not the only Hamilton I have. I actually picked up the 38 millimeter Murph, but I already sent it out on tour. So that is probably the first quote library watch that is being checked out by some selected members of the Random Rob Discord. I just sent it over to my buddy Robert that I've known for years. So that's on the way to him. He should have it probably maybe tomorrow or the next day. Well, I just shipped it out today. So he probably will have it on Wednesday. But yeah, I forgot I had that one. That's another problem. I'm gonna have to like catalog. I'm gonna have to catalog the library because I don't even know what I have. Yeah, the PSR quartz, that one's really cool too. I know some friends of mine have that. Murph Khaki Auto, I agree. That one's really cool. Jeffrey says he has the 42 millimeter titanium. I wasn't sure if I want the black one. I almost want the black case, the black coated case titanium one. So I'm not sure if I want that one or the raw one. I'm not sure yet. But I probably will pick up one of those later this year. Desire 68, Michael's asking, is Helios and the Seaforth still about? Are you asking if they're good? I don't know. Let's see. Tim says, I know for a fact Seiko keeps their watches in the regions they are supposed to. I wanted an Australian. Yeah, but we're still so well connected. So, like, for example, there's 2 or 3 members in my Random Rob Discord that are in Australia. So if there's an Australia release, I could probably ask one of them to pick it up. I'll PayPal them or send them money or whatever, and they would send that watch to me. So, and I know enough people in the Asia market, like all over the world. So we're still global. We don't need other companies to do it for us. We can do it with each other. Even people in this chat, people have chimed in from Belgium, Germany, Australia, wherever. You know what I mean? We're connected. We can do it, guys. We don't need to rely on a manufacturer to do it or a company that sells them. UK, right? Hans, UK. So we can do it. We can work together. Jason's in Aruba. I've never heard of an Aruba special edition watch. He wants us to send watches to him, but that's where we're connected. And Jason has that ability now. Yes, he's on an island hanging out, waiting for watches to show up. But if he reaches out to enough people, he can get what he wants just amongst our community. That's the beauty of this hobby, guys. That's why we need the best people talking to each other so we can support each other in our endeavors. Let's see. Are there Aruba special edition pieces? Brought the case down to 39 millimeter. Trying to read some comments here. I know I missed a bunch, guys. Sorry. Tim says, I've moved on from the watch now. I'm not sure which one that is. Really enjoying tonight's chat. Thank you. Is the next step to the Flippers Paradise Network, the global community. We don't care if Seiko says these are only going to be in that region. Guess what? We're in that region. We know people. I already do that. We've been doing that for years. We're very resourceful. If we want it, we will get it. Will we have to pay a little extra for it? Yeah, sure. Probably the shipping, maybe some duty fees, taxes, something like that. Maybe give the person that hooked you up a little bone, but also reciprocate that. So if you have that relationship and say your buddy in Australia, hey, Benjamin's here. Say your buddy in Australia hooks you up with an Australia only release, then hook them up with a USA only release, reciprocate that, hook them up too. Really, shipping's not that bad, guys. When you're shipping around the world, you can still do it. 50, 60 bucks maybe, and pretty quick shipping. That's a small price to pay to get something halfway across the planet. I think that's not bad. Prestige worldwide. I'm going to try to wind this, but this has the 400 movement in it, which is a 5-day movement. So be patient. This is going to be a minute. It takes probably about 50 turns, 60 turns. Oh, no, it turned before that. That was probably about 25 turns. This one's a little more ready to go. But yeah, this movement takes a lot of turns. Give it the Seiko shuffle. The 400 doesn't care about your Seiko shuffle. The Seiko or the Seiko shuffle will not work on the 400. The 400 wants some serious windage. Great, great movement though. One of these days I'll own one. Not that one probably, but if they do a 43.5 millimeter titanium green dial, green bezel with a 400 in it, I'll be the first in line. I've told them face to face. Other people have told them. Will was there. He told them. Then we would buy it. They only need to make like 5 of them. I guarantee you 5 of us will buy it. But they'll probably have to make more than that. Let's see. Jay says, "Hey Rob, is that brown Bell and Ross on the table?" Well, it's brownish, copperish. The strap is definitely brown. Hans is asking if I've ever reviewed a Nevada Gretchen. Yes, I have. Technically, I owned one, but I ended up hooking up my buddy Dave, which I don't know if he's still in the chat. He was here earlier. I think he still has it. Really cool chronograph one. So, but yeah, this is more of a copper dial here. What a quick release design? This, I don't think this is a quick release. The Oris might be though. Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. I'm digging this one. Let me take the Hamilton off. Yeah, the Nevada, I think if I were going to pick up a Nevada, I'd want the chronograph. But there's the Bell & Ross on wrist. This one wears great. This one's probably more, in my opinion, a very livable type Bell & Ross. Yeah, this one's, I mean, they have round case watches too that are great, but this one still captures the vibe of the Bell & Ross, the squareness, but still just works really good. Yeah, actually, it looks pretty dang good. I'm digging it. And as good as the bracelet is on this watch, I would do the strap. If I'm getting a Bell & Ross, I don't want bracelet. I actually want the strap because the way they do them is just great. They flare them all the way out. But it's hard to ignore like the full size one. And the price, I don't think the price is too bad on these. I mean, it's still high, but like $4,600, I think that's pretty dang good. That'll work. I wouldn't be mad about that. And there's a lot of different colorways for that too. Let's see. Look, oh yes, looks very comfortable. It is extremely comfortable. It's to make more sub 40 millimeter the case wear big. Those cases wear big. That one wears a little less big though. Like you could have probably down to a 6 3/4 inch wrist on that watch easily. Dragging 4 of my buddies into this hobby. Oh, they probably never saw it coming either. So check this one out. So this is, again, another reason why the library is just fun. SPG says, Rob, do you have a Bell & Ross in your collection? No, I do not. Not on my budget, really, but I do own one. Nice brand, I think. I think it is a good brand. I like it too. What's the drink tonight? I actually mixed some Screwball peanut butter whiskey with A&W zero sugar root beer. Tastes delicious. So the Wolves of Odin watch, another member of the private Random Rob Discord messaged me today. He found one, because these are hard to find, I guess. He found one, but it's quartz. I didn't even know they had a quartz one. And he picked it up, and it looks basically the same. It's a great looking watch. I think these are super fun, unique. It's something that if you wear to a watch meetup, or again, like I said earlier, nobody cares what's on your wrist except for you and I. So if you and I, like if we meet up at a watch meetup or just randomly, like I've actually ran into people randomly too, even in Traverse City, which isn't too far from where I live. And he called me out. He's like, "You're Random Rob, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So um, you're gonna obviously we're gonna be like, what are you wearing? And how cool would it be to um, say, yeah, I'm wearing a Wolves of Odin. And even if you're a watch enthusiast, a pretty knowledgeable one, oh, Times is saying they still have some left. So even if you're a pretty knowledgeable watch enthusiast, and somebody says, "Yeah, I'm wearing a Wolves of Odin," you're probably gonna go like, "A what? A Wolves of Odin? Looks like it's made by Chevy or something. I don't know what's going on here. Looks cool, but I don't know. Wolves of Odin, never heard of it." So I like those deep tracks. It's just fun. It's just fun. I'm probably going maybe a little too deep with some of these watches, but I'm exploring. I'm definitely out there exploring, looking where other people are not looking. Werewolves of London. That could be a watch brand. Looks like a Ulysse Nardine. I would love, Jason, I would love to have a Ulysse Nardine freak. Probably, I wouldn't say it's my top like watch that I probably will never own, but it's definitely up there. I would love to have a freak. Floyd says, "Rob, I have the same colorway combat sub and put it on a strap code straight end Jubilee bracelet that you put on your Seiko Turtle, the one that Seiko rep gifted you. Perfect combination." Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I still have that. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on this yet. Haven't decided. I'm thinking I'm thinking I'm going to put it on a FKM rubber though. I think this just needs to be on a FKM rubber, but I want to try some different colors from Strap Habit. So I'm hoping to talk to him this week and we can arrange something. I'm hoping to do something really cool with him. Dane, if you're being serious, I'm 100% down. I didn't know you had one, but maybe when I come to visit, maybe I could just wear it for a day or something. Maybe if I come down to visit and I'm in the Sarasota, actually, I'm looking at flying down probably in February. I might fly into Punta Gorda and hang out in that area. So I'll talk to you. I'll text you. So that could happen potentially mid-February. I might be down in Punta Gorda. And James says, "I love oddball watches. Too, I am bored with the same tired designs and brands." James, you and I are on the same wavelength right now. I'm so there right with you. I don't want to go like too extreme, but also not afraid to go a little extreme. So I'm definitely because you can. And again, I don't want to pick on any brands, but you guys know this. Like definitely the guys that have their wives or whatever or girlfriends. Like if you buy these watches right here, right? You and I look at all four of these and we go like, these are all different, all incredibly different. But our wives are going to look at them and go like, that looks just like the last watch you just bought. Like they all look the same. You and I know that they're all remarkably different. But they're similar. If we're being honest here, they're all kind of similar. It's not until you go like this or like this or like this before whether it's done with color or shape or design or materials before you go like, okay, yeah, it's definitely different. That is definitely different than the last watch I looked at. So, and different is fun. Only as in their watches. Oh, I just got a text from Greg Wood. BNR next. Okay, hold on. It's buried. You you just gave me a hard one to do because I have. Oh, this is so bad. I'm gonna make a mess. So my buddy Greg just texted me. He wants to see the Richard Harvey. So I need to order another watch case because I literally have like 20 watches just piled on top of a watch case, and it makes it difficult to get the watches out of the other watch case. So he goes, he wants to see the Richard Harvey next to a Bell and Ross. Well, we'll show it next to this one. So again, this is what the watch library is all about. Now I'm probably not going to have a bunch of Bell and Ross in the. Yeah, Tennessee Mike says truth. Wife says all dive watches look the same, especially if they have mostly black in it. Now, if you If you take a dive watch and you put this color on it, then no, it's going to look different. They're going to recognize that, you know? But if it's mostly black, they look the same. All right, let's put it next to this guy. So here's the Richard Harvey next to the Bell and Ross, the big boy. Yeah, Chris Thorne, I agree. I like the black. I think I like most of the BR05 colorways. So, Dane, I'm getting your text too. It's funny when people text me. I can still read them. It's just I have to choose whether to acknowledge or not. So I forgot about this. This Richard Harvey is awesome. Actually, I'm going to be sending this over to my buddy Greg. And that again, Greg doesn't officially have a library card, but this was a watch. He's like, he's borderline ready to buy it, and I'm like, let me send it to you so you can check it out, and then maybe you buy it, maybe you don't. But let me just send it to you. You can check it out for a week or whatever, and then we go from there. I love it. So some of the watches that are, yes, going to be in the library that I absolutely love, like this watch would 100% be in my collection. It's a little more difficult for me to just loan it out because sometimes when I loan out watches or when they go on quote watch tours, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm also fully prepared for the watch to not make it back. Now, I've never lost one. I do have one that's still out on loan at another YouTuber, and I'm hoping to get that back. But as soon as we make connection, but other than that, I've never lost a watch in a watch tour. But when I send them out, listen, shit happens. Okay, things could get lost, it could get damaged, it could get stolen. Who knows, right? So when I send a watch out, I'm fully prepared to lose that watch. I don't want to. I want that watch to come back, but I know that's part of the risk of lending out watches. So in the watch library, typically I would want collateral, or it needs to be someone that if something happens with it, that we will come to an agreement. We'll I mean, they'll take care of me or something. So that's the way it has to work. It has to be reciprocated. Yes, ND exactly. Kind of like when you lend a friend money, you just don't expect it back. If and when you ever get it back, then you're grateful. Just like they were grateful to get that loan to them in the first place. I don't think it's wise to lend friends money, but I have done it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have done it. Tim said he just picked up the Tim. I'm right there with you. I need to order probably at least two of them, but I definitely need another one of those 30 watch stand up cases from Timely Buys. I need one like ASAP because I'll fill it right now. I need actually two. SPG says, although, quote, loan can be used as a verb, it's preferred to use lend. Yeah. English, it's difficult for me. I was never tempted to lose a tour watch, even when it was a Zelos, says Dane. Yeah. In case you didn't know, Dane is Mr. Zelos. He has a lot of Zelos. But with Dane, like the first time I met him, I drove over to his house and I sold him a Zelos on the spot, you know? So it's one of those things. Again, certain people, if they ask, you know, I could be persuaded to assist them in getting something or maybe let something go. Just like me picking up this Zen 104, the Discord member that had this, Mr. Joe, it wasn't for sale. I talked to him. I can't remember if I reached out to him or he reached out to me, but whatever it was, he had it and it wasn't for sale. He didn't put it for sale. And I ended up buying it from him. So it is what it is, right? Sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes you buy watches that aren't for sale. Sometimes people will sell a watch that they didn't think was for sale, but that's the way it works. We're crazy in this hobby. Easy says worst people to lend money to is family. Yeah, that can be difficult. Let's see. I don't know what Calico's saying. Something can't coexist. I'll let you send me the rest of the year. All right. Hold on a second. We got a school calico on this. I'll let you guys be the judge. First of all, you got to understand that the watch library has many similar watches. Heck, the watch library has watches that are literally the same watch, but just in a different color. So what Calico is saying is he's saying these two watches cannot coexist in a collection. They might not be able to coexist in a collection, but they can definitely coexist in a watch library. So check and mate. They are similar in the sense that they have sword hands. Other than that, they are extremely different watches. There's literally nothing the same on them when it comes to the movement, the design, the colors, the size. Literally everything is different. Other than the handset is similar in the sense that they're both sword hands. And that's only for the hour and minute hand. So, yeah, coexist, yes. 100%. Maybe I'll wear them both tomorrow. Oh, he's saying they have the same water depth rating. I will straight up say the Janot is a more refined version of a watch versus the Helson, but the Helson's definitely a working man's watch, and it is definitely more robust feeling. Not to say that the Janot is delicate feeling, but the Helson feels tougher. But it also feels a little more crude, too, at the same time that it feels more robust. Coexist they shall. Calico, you were wrong. And I'm over the time. You admit it, same watch. Calico lives in a fantasy world. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let's kill the lights. Let's take some lume. Let's take a minute. Let's take a minute to look at lume. I don't want to just tease the lume. We want to experience the lume. There's the lume. We got a screen that's too bright back here. Let's kill that. Okay, yeah, we definitely have lume here. We have micro brands. We have a few name brands, but the micro brands are just champs when it comes to lume, period. They just are. They're great. And I love what the Richard Harvey did with the skeleton handset and loomed it out. I think it's great. They did a great job. Orca Citizen, insane. It is awesome. Let's see. David wants to see the Zen 104 next to your Breitling Super Ocean. Really tempted. Well, you can see it at night in the dark. There it is in the dark. I don't know if that helps. But hit me up next Monday if you want to see the Zen 104 next to the Breitling Super Ocean during the day. We can do that too. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I got to clean this mess up. So I'll see you on the next vid.